Well, it's the start of a new season here at the Beach House Grill in Old Town Fort Collins. It's the Coors Light CSU basketball coaches show, where for the next hour we'll talk CSU Rams hoops. We'll be joined by Kristen Holt, the head coach of the women's basketball program, in the first half hour, and then coming up in the back half of the program we'll be joined by Tim Miles, head coach of your Colorado State men's basketball team. Well, each one of these programs coming off games here this past week, and for the women, it was a 2-0 week for them as they were able to get that Coors Rocky Mountain Invitational, I guess, tournament championship. Although, Kristen, you guys didn't play everybody in the field, but Colorado State had a couple of great wins here this weekend as they hammered Texas A&M Corpus Christi 90-57. A little bit of payback after the game down in Corpus Christi last year, and then they also got an 80-60 victory over Texas. And we'll talk about both of those games with head coach of the CSU women, Kristen Holt, look at what they have coming up as they get another state test as they have UNC coming into Moby Arena on Thursday evening. Meanwhile, for Tim Miles and the Rams, off to a 2-1 start. Upset at home on Saturday night, 92-81 at the hands of Sam Houston State. But that's a Sam Houston State team that won 5 games of a season ago, and their lead score off that team from a season ago. And a big second half for Sam Houston State propelled them to the win. Colorado State actually led by 14 points at one point in that first half. They weren't able to hold on. It was their first loss of the season. But quick turnaround for Tim Miles and the men as they get Drake coming on Wednesday night, so an opportunity to bounce back for them. We'll talk to Tim about that coming up here momentarily. We'll take our first time when we come back. Kristen Holt, head coach of the CSU women. She joins us. That comes up next. From Nelligan Sports, the Colorado State Sports Network. We welcome everybody to the Coors Light CSU Coaches Basketball Show. Tim Miles in the house. We'll get to Tim coming up here momentarily, but first, the stage is set for Kristen Holt, head coach of the CSU women's basketball team. They're on a 4-game tear. They're off to a 4-2 start, but they have won 4 consecutive games. Kristen, how are you? Thanks for being with us tonight.
I don't know about the 4-game tear, but we'll take it.
I don't know. Well, let me read off a couple of things to you here, and you can tell me if this is a tear.
Okay.
First off, you get a win up in North Dakota, which is a tough place to play.
They win almost like close to 85% of their games at home.
Okay, so you get a win there. Then you come home, you beat a pretty good DU team at home, snap a 6-game skid against them. Then you win by 20, and then win by, what, 33 here this weekend.
A tear.
That sounds like a tear to me. Well, congratulations. Let's go back to that DU game, and I know the Pioneers have kind of had your number. How important is it to knock off a program like that and to beat them at home and to continue to elevate your program within the boundaries of the state?
Well, it's really important. I think any of the front range teams we want to be able to beat and say that we're the best of those. And it was a really good game for us because, you know, coming into each of these games each year, they've just been tougher than we have. I mean, mentally and physically tougher. And in this game, I thought we were a lot tougher than they, and we finally got our inside game going. Sam and Shatilla had really just not been able to get it going yet, and in that game, they really took charge and did what we need them to do for us to be a balanced team.
Yeah. You get to 4 games, 4 straight wins, and you're off to that 4-2 start. Hey, have you seen a bit of a change in your team through the first 6 games? Because I know you have these games in November. You learn a little bit with each passing game because you're not always quite sure what you have at the start of the year.
Yeah, I would have to say that the Northern Iowa game was a little bit disappointing because we didn't look good and we had a lot of turnovers and couldn't shoot the ball, and we just looked like it was definitely our first game and that no one had played before. I mean, we didn't look good. Didn't look good in the first half of Florida State. We couldn't throw the ball in the ocean. We had 9 points at halftime. From halftime of the Florida State game really up till yesterday, we've just been getting better and better. And Florida State game, the real promising thing of that, we just played really well and made a comeback in the second half. And you know, if the game would have gone 5 minutes longer, we might have won that game just because we had them on their heels. And the opposing coach, she didn't know what to do. I mean, she'd pulled her starters and her subs weren't playing well. And then she puts her starters back in and they're out of it. And we're scoring, and Mick Sonder Porter is going crazy. And I'd never seen her play like that before. I mean, in high school I had, but not since she's been here. And so we were just, and the momentum had just switched, but we just kind of have been building upon each game, and hopefully we can continue to do that.
And that's a really good Florida State team, isn't it? Athletic Florida State team.
Very, very good. I think they're probably the best opponent that we've played since I've been the head coach.
Yeah. How much did that play into factor then with the 4 wins? That second half at Florida State, did it give you guys a little bit of confidence, even though you couldn't complete the comeback?
I think it did. It gave us a lot of confidence, knowing that a team like that in our league would probably win our league. And if we can play like that with a Florida State, we can play like that with a TCU or a San Diego State. I think that maybe going into the North Dakota game, our kids didn't, maybe they thought they played well against Florida State, and now we can just show up. And so we weren't too sharp in the first half of North Dakota, but we did enough, and Kim had 32 points in that game and just shot lights out. So that just really, she basically won the game for us up there.
Yeah, 32 points. I heard she was raining threes from everywhere. There was some gas from the crowd. I was talking to Matt Wozniak, your play-by-play guy. I said, boy, every time she caught the ball, there was just that gasp of, oh, no, by the home fans.
Yeah, I think they were like, you're leaving her open again, really? Because we found ways to get her open, and she worked hard to get herself open and was really making shots that day.
Well, we mentioned the Rams get victories over Texas Southern and Texas A&M Corpus Christi here this past weekend. We'll talk about that Coors Rocky Mountain Invitational when we come back. It's the Coors Light CSU Basketball Coaches Show from the Beach House Grill in Old Town Fort Collins on the Colorado State Sports Network. Well, moving right along here tonight, the Beach House Grill in Old Town Fort Collins, Coors Light CSU Basketball Coaches Show. Brian Roth with you. Talking some women's hoops here in this first half hour with CSU women's basketball coach Kristen Holt. Again, they get the 2 wins here this past weekend. That Coors Rocky Mountain Invitational. That Texas Southern game, you guys would win 80-60, but that was a game that was over in the opening minutes. In fact, you guys went into halftime up 44-17.
Yeah, we haven't had that happen too often. And at halftime, I really had to try to get creative on getting our kids to come out and play with the same intensity and motivation, because when you have that lead like that, it's a little bit difficult to conjure up that same type of energy. And I thought we did come out in the second half in the first few minutes and played well, and then we just started to slack off. And of course, I used a lot of timeouts in that couple 3 minutes there to get them refocused.
Yeah, that's almost human nature at that point, though, is it not? I mean, can you really get upset at your team at that point, or do you?
Yeah. Yeah.
Of course you can.
Well, you just can't have letdowns, because
Sure.
you're going to do that. If you do that, then you're going to do it in practice. It's just going to kind of feed on itself. So I try not to let them get away with things like that.
All right. Well, the radio guy can cut him a little slack,
go ahead.
but not the head coach.
No.
You guys went 14 of 21 from three-point range in that game. I've been doing the CSU women a long time. I don't know if I've ever seen a game in which a CSU women's basketball team has got 14 of 21 from the three-point line.
It hadn't happened since 1999. So.
Let me guess. Becky Hammond was playing.
Yeah, I'm sure she was. But yeah, it was good to see our kids shooting like that. Bonnie can shoot, and she's just lost, I think, some confidence, and hopefully that type of a game brought that shooting form back. Amber McKeever came in, and she was letting her rip, and she was shooting really well, and so it's good to see some kids like that get some minutes and perform well.
Again, 80-60 was the final. The Rams got the win. 17.6 rebounds for Kim Mestog. She was the leading scorer. Shatila Von Grinsven, 8 points, but 11 boards as Colorado State would out-rebound Texas Southern 43-30. Then you guys turn around and take on Texas A&M Corpus Christi. That game was actually yesterday, correct?
Right.
Usually the Coors Rocky Mountain Invitational has been Friday, Saturday. You guys switched it up Saturday, Sunday this year.
Yeah, we decided, I don't know why we did that, but we did, and we decided to put it in the afternoon. And of course, there's a lot of things going on. There's football games, there's volleyball, so we just tried to avoid conflict. And I know we played during the Broncos game, so maybe we didn't get some fans there because of that. But anyways, we had a good performance yesterday, and thought we played actually better yesterday than we did Saturday.
Yeah, Broncos aren't worth watching these days anyway.
Well,
Kristen.
I'll let you say that.
How about Sam Martin, the freshman, the post player, 6'2", true freshman out of Chaparral High School down in Parker. 25 points, 12 rebounds. I saw the box score this morning, and I was shocked. I know she's a solid player, but for a freshman, and game number 6?
Yeah.
Goes for 25 and 12.
Yeah, that's tremendous. You know, there have been times, I think, so far that when we've been playing that I think Sam thinks, you know, I'm a freshman, I'll, you know, maybe be the third or fourth option. And going into that game, I said, I want you to be our first option. I want you to be aggressive and look for your shot. And especially the 8 to 10 foot shot that she's money. And those were the types of shots she got yesterday. And then that got her going inside. And Sam's a smart player, and she's a leader out there, even as a freshman. I really see her rallying the troops and really, you know, talking to Shatilla and talking with Haley, and that's really good for us to see from her.
You know, I saw you guys play on Saturday, and you look at Sam Martin out there on the court, and she looks like a Mountain West caliber type of kid, even as a freshman. And, yeah, I know you guys had some questions about her health because she hurt her knee last year and had microfracture surgery and missed most of her senior year at Chaparral.
Well, I think the coaching staff would agree with me that she's further ahead, you know, at this point than we thought she might be because of the knee and not having played last year. And it takes a while for someone to kind of get acclimated again. And I think she's done a tremendous job, and she's just only going to get better and better.
Now, she had an option to come back and play at the end of last year at Chaparral, correct? And she decided not to. And, of course, you guys don't try to sway her one way or another. You want her to have the best high school experience, but I'm sure you guys weren't too upset for her not playing.
No, we were secretly cheering. But that just shows you that she's very focused on this college career of hers and wanting to make this the best experience that she can for not only herself. She wanted to come here to win a Mountain West Conference championship and go to the NCAA tournament, and that's she's very focused on that goal, and we were really happy that she made that decision.
Again, 90-57, the Rams knock off Texas A&M Corpus Christi to go on that 4-game tear, as they're now 4-2 on the season. They get UNC coming up later this week on Thursday. We'll talk about that matchup with the Bears when we come back here on the Coors Light CSU Basketball Coaches Show. We're live in Old Town Fort Collins, the Beach House Grill from Milligan Sports, Colorado State Sports Network. Just about a midway point here of the show here tonight. Beach House Grill, the place to be for the Coors Light CSU Basketball Coaches Show. One more segment here talking women's hoops with head coach Kristen Holt. And Colorado State gets UNC coming up on Thursday at Moby Arena. That'll be a 7 p.m. start time. It's kind of like that DU series where you know, I think Colorado State people expect Colorado State, the bigger university, to win those type of games, but the Bears got you last year in Greeley.
They did. That was a very disappointing loss because we didn't only lose the game, we looked pretty bad. Weren't ready to play. So this is what we've got to do. We've got to come out on Thursday here at our place and have, I think, a different mentality and really take it to them and be the aggressors and you know, see what we can do. I think they're 2-5 right now. They just lost to Santa Barbara, I believe, yesterday. And so they're a fairly young team, and I hope that our kids will play like they know they can.
Yeah. What else do they have coming back? I don't know how deep into the scouting report you guys have dove yet, but what else do they have?
I don't know.
We need to get Coach Lean up here.
We do.
Then, huh?
He's watched a lot of film on them, but they have a couple kids a couple freshmen that are pretty good. I know of them. I don't know their stats, but they'll be a good team because I think Coach White at Northern Colorado does a really good job. She'll have them prepared and ready, but it's a game I hope we can get because we do need to take care of these in-state teams.
Do you mention last year's game to your team at all as motivation?
I think that we'll talk about, you know, the fact that we weren't ready to play, and this is a team that won't back down, and they took it to us, and you know, we owe them one, and we've got to come out ready to go.
Yeah, just as you guys are looking for revenge on your home court coming up Thursday against UNC, you guys, and we'll talk more about that CU game coming up next Monday night, but you guys will then go on the road to take on a Colorado team that will be looking for revenge against you guys.
They will, and they're playing pretty well. I think they've just lost one game. They lost to DU, and I think it was a 1 or 2 point game. But you know, you can't go by that. I mean, it's going to be on their home floor. They're playing their rival. So it'll be a fun game. I can't wait for it.
Yeah, it's going to be a doubleheader. I want to get your thoughts on that because the women will play at 5:30. The men follow up at 8 o'clock down there in Boulder. I think it's a great format. I like it.
I agree. I wish we had more games like that. I think we're going to have a good crowd there, and it gives us a chance to watch our men, which we don't get to do during our conference season. I'm trying to see as many games as I can now because I don't see those guys. They're down on the first floor of McGraw. We're on the second floor. Our travel schedules are not the same, so it's Tim's got a good team. They've got depth. I wouldn't worry too much about what happened with the Sam Houston State game. That they're going to be. I know he kick their butts in practice the next day, and they'll be ready.
Yeah, he said he was going to do that.
I think he did. I think I saw him there at 6 a.m.
We'll get some specifics out of Tim on that here momentarily. Final thought before we go. Kind of introduce some more of those freshmen that you have here. We talked about Sam Martin, but another player that I really liked on Saturday, and again, I only saw her on the Saturday game, was Haley Thompson, the freshman out of Mullen High School.
Yeah, Haley's been a good surprise for us in that she's playing out of position. She's playing in the post, which she did not do in high school. She's kind of helping us out because we're pretty thin there. She's done a nice job. She can shoot the ball. In the last, I think she had 23 points this weekend between the two games, and she can face up and shoot the three-point shot and in. She's a workhorse. She doesn't back down. At Florida State, she probably was our toughest kid. I mean, she's going against some really athletic big kids, and she's boxing them out, and she's going to work hard in there. So really proud of her. And then, of course, our McKeever twins, Amber is a good three-point shooter, as our fans saw this weekend, and she just needs to continue to get stronger, and she knows that this is a process for her. And then her sister is battling with a shoulder problem and is going to have surgery in January.
Yeah, I thought I saw a quote from Mandy McKeever saying that she didn't really have too many shoulder issues, though, in high school, and then she gets here and...
Yeah, she did when she was a freshman, and she had a surgery, but I don't know if there was an incident in particular or what, but it just has caused her some problems. So, hey, we're going to have her for the rest of her career, and she's going to be a good one for us.
Yeah, I know you guys really liked her, though, and she was in the starting lineup through the first 2-3 games.
She was, yeah, and she just knows how to play the game and can do a lot of things really well, and ran the point for us some, which. I really liked her at that position.
And then I know she's not a freshman, but Kelly Hartick, the 6'3" post player, transferred from Virginia. When do you get her eligible to start playing, and how will she help you?
Let's see, what's today?
Today is the 29th.
Okay, we've got 22 more days, and she'll be on the floor. She'll be in our South Dakota game on December 20th here at home. She's getting herself ready for that game, and she's really going to add some depth to the post position, which we need.
Yeah, I remember you talking about her last year, and she was enrolled at Colorado State. She was in all your practices. Obviously couldn't play with you, but the amount of maturity that she brings, and kind of that ACC mentality.
Yeah, she just understands it well, and really is able to get the players around her to play hard. And I don't know what she's going to do that day. I think that she has sat out longer than Sam Martin did. Yeah. When you look at her transfer and how long she hasn't played for a while. So you just don't know how a kid's going to react to that. But in the long run, Kelly's going to really help us a lot.
Yeah, with Hartig and Martin and Von Grinsven. You guys have a nice front line, don't you?
Yeah, we do. We do. We've got to stay healthy.
That's right. That's always key for any basketball program or football. You go right down the list.
That's right.
Kristen, best of luck coming up Thursday against UNC. It should be a good one.
Thank you, Brian.
Okay, that's head coach Kristen Holt to the 4-2 CSU women. Again, Thursday night, they will take on UNC at Moby Arena. Tim Miles comes up next on Milligan Sports and the Colorado State Sports Network.